Hello and welcome back to another video with me, Meoni. Today I want to do something a little bit different. This is actually a lore related video, and for Christmas I got the Encyclopedia Eorzea, and along with a few other sources, I thought each week it would be nice to have a video looking at something different within the realms of Eorzea and Final Fantasy XIV. So without further ado, let's read some stuff from the encyclopedia. Basic Aetherology. Not only is ether the most basic building block of all creation, but also the life energy upon which the various schools of magic draw. Without knowledge of ether and how it works, scholars would understand significantly less about the world and its inner workings. Within all beings, whether it be man, animal, or even plant, does ether flow. It is a spark which grants life to the lifeless. Conversely, death can be said to occur once ether has left a corporeal object. From this, it is clear to see why many scholars use the word life and ether interchangeably. It can be assumed that a young man of sound mind and body will possess a high concentration of ethereal energy in his humours, whereas an older man, or one inflicted with corruption, will not. Some scholars have expanded upon this hypothesis, saying that the consumption of food serves not only to fill the belly, but to provide the body with ether lost through exertion. Ether is not by any means static. It constantly flows through creation, forming currents through earth, water and air, which ensure that life is sustained throughout the world. The stoppage of these currents would be akin to the atrophication of a limb cut off from the heart. Ether is the lifeblood of Hydaelyn, and without it, she and her children would perish. Manipulation of ether in a manner that deviates from its natural tendencies is what scholars call magic. While the various schools of magic such as thaumaturgy and conjury all employ differing methods to achieve this goal, the basic concept is the same. A similar yet more primitive type of ethereal manipulation can also be seen in non-sentient beings. A raptor breathing fire, or a bias generating a levin-like shock, are all examples of lesser-born creatures utilizing the ether within their bodies or available from the nearby environment to hunt or protect themselves from harm. There exist some objects which are believed to toe the line between organic and inorganic, gems being one example. Arcanists tip the scales in favour of life by drawing ether into the stones, the result being creatures known as carbuncles. Ethereal energies can be divided into 6 distinctive elements: fire, wind, lightning, water, ice and earth. These elements provide nature with aspects that govern how they act in the world. For example, a region where ethereal currents are aspected towards fire will generally be hotter and drier than a region featuring primarily ice-aspected currents, a region likely to be characterized by frigid climes. The same can be said for the flora and fauna that populate an area. Seedkin aspected towards wind can navigate the skies as if they were winged cloudkin. Scalekin aspected towards earth will exhibit lithified skin protecting them from sharp-fanged predators. In addition to the 6 elements, there also exist 2 poles, astral and umbral, which greatly influence the nature of the elements. An astral charge being more activity, while an umbral charge resulting in more passiveness. For example, when in an astral state, fire exhibits high volatility, whereas in an umbral state is characterized by dryness. When a living entity dies, the ether remaining will normally leave the body and return to the world's ethereal currents, known as the Lifestream. When a living entity, however, experiences death-inducing trauma, such as a mortal wound in battle, the resulting sudden release of its most heavily aspected life energy will oftentimes manifest corporeally before it can return to the Lifestream, a phenomenon we know as crystals. This can also occur when a wound is dealt to the very land itself, and is a reason why crystal deposits are found throughout the land. The elemental aspect of the energy trapped in these crystals can be harnessed and used in a myriad of manners. Applying fire crystals to a forge can increase its internal temperature, assisting in the smelting of ore. The cooling properties of an ice crystal can assist a grocer in maintaining the freshness of meat or produce. That said, due to the extreme concentration of aspected ether within a crystal, direct consumption of a crystal by a living being can severely alter the ethereal balance within its body, ultimately resulting in severe injury or even death. Aetherologists believe that existence occurs on two separate but overlapping planes: the corporeal realm, or realm consisting of objects with basic physical properties, and the ethereal realm, more namely a realm without substance but containing the essence of all creation. When an item in the corporeal realm dies or is destroyed, its ether passes back into the ever-flowing currents of the ethereal realm, sometimes referred to by the layman's term, the Lifestream. When something new is born in the corporeal realm, it is granted life with energy from the Lifestream. Thus, a natural balance is maintained between the two worlds. Each plane exerts influence on the other, the proximity of the two determining the scope of that influence. In places of close proximity, the ethereal plane exerts a great amount of influence on the corporeal plane, and vice versa. The corporeal plane benefits from this proximity by becoming rich in ambient ether, something that promotes life and growth. Conversely, locations where there is distance between the corporeal and ethereal planes are thought to suffer from harsh climates and are characteristically void of life. If, for some reason, one plane were to become irreparably damaged, the other would also suffer, leading to the eventual collapse of both. As was stated above, when the planes draw close in proximity, they equally exert influence over each other. We have already given an example of how the corporeal plane benefits from this influence, but what of the ethereal plane? One manner of measurable influence is how corporeal will can be maintained while in a state of pure ether. This ultimately allows for the travel of corporeal beings through the ethereal plane without the loss of ties to the being's own plane. In simpler terms, it renders possible the phenomenon commonly known as teleportation. Magics are wielded to reduce a body and will to its ethereal components and cross over into the ethereal plane. While there, the will of the host is maintained, allowing him to travel almost instantaneously to other locations in the plane, where he then crosses back, regaining his corporeal form. To accomplish this, however, the host requires special beacons that point the subject where he needs to be. Aetherites, massive concentrations of crystallized ether, serve as the beacons, most often appearing in areas where the corporeal and ethereal planes are the closest. These areas are already teeming with life because of this proximity, which is why centers of population can be found near Aetherites. Without these beacons, an ethereal will would merely drift in the Lifestream for eternity, slowly breaking down into the most basic form of pure ether until Heidelin gave those particles new form. Historically, settlements have been established around existing deposits of aetherite, areas teeming with life due to their proximity to the ethereal plane. However, the Sharlians, despite a lack of comprehension regarding the process involved, have succeeded in applying technology from previous ages to the construction of portable aetherites, which can be placed in almost any location. And that brings to an end the first chapter of my new lore series. This is basically looking at the contents of the Encyclopedia Eorzea, something that I was gifted for Christmas. It's an exceptional piece of literature that I really like, and hopefully you enjoyed my reading of it. I'm going to continue this if it is successful each week, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.